Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkbutterfly.com. Thank you so much for joining me today for our Stamp Around the World video hop. Everybody here is a Stampin' Up demonstrator using Stampin' Up products, and the links to everybody who's participating this month will be in the description below. Just click more and more and you'll see that link, list of links in there. The theme this month is a sketch challenge. So essentially a rectangle with a circle and a banner across there. So this is my interpretation of it. We're going to be using gallery blooms and some other bits and pieces to create the card today. Obviously with a few variations, because that's how I rock and roll. As you can see, this one's very much in the neutrals with some crumb cake, basic beige and early espresso. But before we move on to what we did, these are the products that we're using. Many of these are going to be on the retiring list / chance list, so hopefully they'll still be available in the market that you're watching from. So as of filming, these were still available. So gallery blooms, absolutely love this vintage flower, and I've made many cards with this one, but the real showstopper is the die set really. So there is a die to cut out the big bloom, which I've already taken off, but also in here are these fantastic frames. Okay, so when I've been die cutting these, you get two at the same time, and the one that didn't get used I've been slotted in the back. So I've pulled out one of those excess pieces to use on my card with you today. So fabulous set that is, if you haven't got it already. It's all part of a suite alongside beautiful motifs. This is where the sentiment's coming from. So use the thinking of you here. On this card we'll use something different on our sample, and again fab dies. These partially cut out and give you dimension, and then you've got these lovely bits of foliage on there as well. Really versatile. And then the other bits and pieces, the circles and stuff, are going to be using Stylish Shapes, one of my faves, and they're staying alongside I think these are called Encircled in Beauty. Can't be sure. Encircled in Beauty, yeah. Anyhow, this set is staying as well, and these really play nicely with the Stylish Shapes as well, as you'll see as we go on. So you can see that there's a few missing there, but you'll see how they come into play when we go through the card. So on this sample I also embossed the background with this dotted circles. So this one is also retiring, but we're not going to do any dry embossing on the sample, I don't think. So just lots of stuff to keep your eye on basically, and like I say, I just want to showcase these products once again in the card that we're doing today. So let's move along with what we're doing. I'm going to switch out the theme a little, the colourway a little bit. So we're switching to a basic beige cardstock, and like I say, I pulled out one of these frames instead of using one of my mini mats. I call them mini mats. That's not a technique. That's not a Stampin' Up thing. That's just what I call them. They're an inch shorter and narrower than a normal layer would be. So this frame I've just used, this is the edge strip from your sheet of dimensionals. So it's great for these kinds of things. So I'm just going to pop this frame onto this card front like so, and you can see the dimensions are great for the half A4 cards, which isn't usually the case with the dies. So we've got this nice raised frame with a basic beige card base ready to go. Okay, so our circles, we're going to also use the did I say that was Blackberry Bliss? That's Blackberry Bliss, one of my favourite colours. So this is the basic beige two-tone cardstock, so we're going to do that larger circle. I'll call this one the Morse code one because it's got dots and dashes on it. So we're going to do that on the dark side of the two-tone paper. Okay. So don't want to overcrowd my die cut machine. So I'm going to run that through first. Just quickly. And it cuts beautifully, so we'll just pop that to one side and clean it out later. We don't need to do that right now. Okay, and then we've got this lovely die cut, like I say, with these lovely sort of dots and dashes on it. Okay, so I need to clean off this plate. Just a scrap of cardstock or something gets those off. You don't want to leave them on because they'll emboss into your next project. And then for the little accent piece, so I used another sort of ring of cardstock there. I left this one white just for a little bit of a bright accent. On this one I'm going to die cut it with the Blackberry Bliss to bring in the colour from the frame. And I did that by cutting the two largest stylish shapes together like this. You want to tape them in place. You do not want these to overlap each other. If you're at all unsure, cut your large circle and then do your smaller circle. But if you tape them down and make sure they don't cross over, shouldn't have any problems. That's the only way you'll ever damage a die, really. Is if you try and it cut through and they're overlapping. So I'll do that, and we'll lift off our pieces. So you've got a nice circle in there that you can use for something else, which we can pull apart at another time. And then this, we'll just take off our plate. And we've got this lovely sort of stitched edge all around the inside and the outside of our little frame. Sorry about that noise, I was just trying to get the thing back on. So I'm going to adhere this now so that we've got time for that to completely dry before we move on to our next project. So I'm just going to use the multi-purpose glue for that and just run that around the edge. Don't need tons of this, it's really strong, so just a little bit, and it just sits just inside those cutouts on that larger die. So I'm just going to press that down nice and firmly, and then I'm going to pop it under a couple of blocks at the back of the bench there, just to make sure that that's, I'm going to stick 3 of them on there, just to make sure that's weighted down so that it sticks and stays flat. So this is more two-tone basic beige, and this time we're going to stamp our accent image, so this lovely floral. I did think about using one of the other ones, but I thought I'll just stick with the sample. Okay, and we don't need the whole image, so I'm just going to use the stamp, and it cuts off about 3/4 of an inch off the stem, but I don't mind that because I don't want that part. Obviously, if you need that, if you're going to use the whole image, then you just wriggle it up and down a bit, and that coats the stamp beautifully, and it fits just nicely across there. And we'll just give that some nice firm and even pressure, hold it in place, allow that ink to transfer and lift, and we get this lovely image. It will stain your stamp, but it's just a sign of good quality stamps, that is. One of my favourite colours, Blackberry Bliss, so hopefully you can see. Whilst that looks dark, it definitely has that purple hue to it. It doesn't look like it's black. A bit like Secret Sea in that it's really super dark, but in the right light you can tell that it's got a different colour to it. And then I did just use a little bit of Stampin' Blends on this. So I've used the ivory marker on this cardstock just to sort of lift that colour. Okay, I'm not really sure what colour. Do you know what I might do? I think I might use Petal Pink actually, just to sort of I don't want to detract from the colour we've got going on here, and I don't really want to use the Blackberry Bliss. I think it'd be too dark, so I just want to accent a few bits and pieces. I'm not really overthinking this. I'm just dropping in some colour into the bits where there might be some shadow, using the lines in the image to help with that. And if you want it a bit darker, you just go over it again. And it's super subtle, but it just makes it look like it's complete rather than just being a plain die cut. Okay, and then for the green, I'm just going to drop in a little bit of soft sea foam. It'll just give it that hint of green, but won't be, oh, that's a petal, whoops, overpowering in any way. And again, once it dries back a little bit, if you feel like it needs some more, then drop some more in. Let me just go over that leaf, petal that I coloured in the wrong colour. Okay. Cool. Just a hint of colour. You could just leave it, but that's what I did with mine. Okay. And then the die fits beautifully over the top of this. So these little leaves and the stem is just sort of several reference points just to make sure that you're all lined up. And we can run that through the die cut machine again. There we go. Let's run that through. And there we go, there's our image. Super. Right, this should be nice and dry now. But what we need to do is actually trim this down. We want this to be sliced off a little bit. So, well, we could have tucked it in actually, but obviously I've popped that on right now. Okie dokie. So what I want is this edge to still be visible. It's going to be sat on top so that you still see that it's a circle, and you can still see this frame. And I think I want it higher up as well. Did it kind of central to match the embossing fold on this one, but I think I might lift this one up a little bit. So I want to take off, what's that? Let's just take it off where that edge is there. So I'm just going to bring in a trimmer and just eyeball this on the track, so that the cutting track's here, the Blackberry Bliss has just disappeared behind there, so let's just go with that. It is approximately, well, let's just make it half an inch, shall we? Half an inch. There we go. And we'll grab some dimensionals. And we'll pop those there. so that it's supported. And pop that on where we want it. Somewhere around there, I reckon. So still see that nice shape. Okay, but you've got this recessed area in the middle. We could have put in a layer and done some embossing just to enhance that a little bit more, like I did on the other one, but I feel like it doesn't need it. Okay, so we're not going to need the whole of that stem, so I'm going to lop it off. We don't need it. And again, I'm going to pop some dimensionals on this behind these larger blooms here, so that they're stuck down, and I think we'll need a little one on this leaf just to help that one. It's not waving about, it's more likely to get caught on, like, you know, getting it in out of an envelope or something. And then we'll position this maybe around there. There we go. And for our sentiment, I've already stamped it in the Blackberry Bliss ink onto just some basic beige two-tone cardstock, and we're just going to cut that into a little flag. We snip it in from the centre there, and then into the middle from the corners. Like so. And you get your nice little flag that we can pop in on there. So again, do I want this to span? No, I don't want that space there. So I'm going to pop a mini dimensional right at the end there, and I'm going to pop one right there straight on the card. I know it's going to get covered up. And we'll tuck this as close as we can to that little leaf. Cutting into this circle, making it all look like it's connected. Okay. Preferably straight. There we go. Cool. Love it. Absolutely love it. I had on the sample card, I'd used these pressed flower motifs. I think they're in the same suite as that, actually. Can't be sure, don't know. But I'm wondering now whether I just go with something different. I could use the antique pearls, actually. Antique pearls, I think, would probably be best. They've got this nice creamy sort of look to them, and still got the two sizes. Okay, so I think we'll pop those in and around. Oh no, I've got three sizes. Ooh, even better. Love it when there's three sizes. And then we'll put the medium one like so. There we go. Super duper. That was nice. I like this combination. Basic beige is really diverse colour, actually. If you haven't really used it much, I'd definitely suggest getting that out and having a look at how it plays with your other colours, because I think you'll be surprised. It works quite well with a lot of things. So, et voila, 2 cards with slightly different layouts, all using that same sketch to achieve our look today, with the sort of very neutral sort of colour palette, using that wonderful gallery blooms and beautiful motifs bundles together today. Love it. Okay, don't forget this is a video hop. Please do use the links in the description to like, subscribe, comments, shares, all that jazz. All helps everybody to grow their channels and get out to wider audiences. So anything you can do to support that would be really appreciated from everybody participating today. So that's it from me. I hope you enjoy the rest of the hop, and we'll see you again for the next one. Bye for now.